When I look at the world, it really fills me with sorrow, but not the kind of sorrow you think. Sorrow in that the people are blind and don't know it. They are blind and don't know it. They call blindness the light. And as a result of being blind, they fight one another. They're jealous and envious and rude, and they are being controlled not only by the inner darkness inside themselves, but the outer darkness inside of others. And it's happening around the world. And it's amazing to see it. It really is, but it's more amazing to see that they can't see. And this is Christians and non-Christians alike. The Jews, the Allah Abba people, the Catholics, the evangelicals, and the so-called secular world people. If you really, 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 really was able to see, you would not be caught up in all this mess that's going on. And the devil, which is evil, which is the imagination, is playing a trick on everybody around the world. And there are some people who are starting to hear that you are not this false identity. You're not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. It's an illusion. It's a deception. You're being deceived. And those who are desperately want to know the truth, and when I say desperately want to know the truth, just want to know the truth. Not like, oh, I want to know the truth. Oh, Lord, help me, Jesus. Not that. That's an ego-driven person. Lord, help me, Jesus. That's an ego-driven person. They love their ego while crying out to the Lord. But people who want to know the truth, like, what am I doing wrong? What am I not seeing about me? And I counsel with people, and besides just looking at myself, because I counsel with people around the world, and young, old, all races, people are possessed and don't know it. And it's amazing what the devil can make you, or not make you, but convince you to do. And you just don't know it's him and his little demons. What he can literally make you, encourage you, influence you to do to yourself. He can't make you do it because he has no power. He pretends he does, but he doesn't. But the horrific things that an individual can do to him or herself is mind-blowing, and not know, and no one tells them that it's not you. You are possessed. It's a spirit in you that's evil. And even I counsel with young folks, and they say, well, when I was this age, I was a teenager, I was depressed, and my parents didn't believe me, or they got mad, or they want to know, why are you depressed? You got everything. I'm like, what the? They don't know that you're possessed because we have the wrong image of being possessed. Well, even when we see the stories about Jesus and when he was walking the earth and people were possessed, they always give you the image of someone that was deformed in their body, or they had leprosy, and they were healed in that way. They never show you that the spirit of wickedness is in the imagination, and Christ went around waking up people to that. Even though he apparently healed them diseases and things too, but it was really of the mind, of the imagination. Bring every thought into captivity. The devil, the imagination is wicked, right? And you have evil spirits in your emotions and things like that. Emotions are evil. But the devil is really destroying people. And he's only doing it because the people are not aware of what's happening with it. I wasn't aware for a long time of what was happening in the imagination and emotions. I just didn't know. I heard about it somewhat growing up. The older generation and some of the older preachers who are now dead, they did, would mention that the imagination is evil. You're not this. You're not that. So don't name and claim yourself as that. Don't put on these false identities. You're neither rich or poor. You're neither black or white. You're none of those things. But I was young, didn't understand exactly what they meant. But the devil is truly making people torture themselves. If you saw that it was evil, you will overcome it. And the same thing is happening around the world. In every language and every color. And I've been saying that America is, at one time I was saying that America is becoming South Africa, mommy Africa, but America is South Africa now. And the same wicked destruction within the people and the people who are over the people, the same thing that they have done to those people in South Africa, mommy Africa, they're doing it to the American people as well. Not only is the devil destroying the people in South Africa, but the devil inside of others, in their government, in their experts, in their people, is using and destroying them as well. And they don't know it. The devil inside of others can tell the people, go out and rally. Rally for this and rally for that. And as soon as you take sides, you divide yourself from the opposite side. And now you have a battle going on. And that's the same thing that's happening inside of you. You're divided. You're not one. But you just don't know it. You just can't see. And I understand that now. Even with the drag queens, the LGBTQ, they are divided. And they are trying to make an abnorm be a norm. It's never going to happen, but they are trying to do it. It's like men are under attack today around the world, and the women are trying to make themselves equal to a man, and abnorm be a norm. It's just not going to ever happen. And just because you put them in those positions, it doesn't mean that they're equal to a man. It's an abnormal state still. You can call it equal, but you're lying. You're deluded. I want to give you some examples of what happened and is happening in South Africa so that you can see the exact same thing is happening in America. It's the same mindset. It's the same anger, which is evil, and it's the same fear. It's the same lack of self-control. It's the same lack of wholeness of being an individual and willing to stand alone and not follow the crowd. It's the same spirit. It's mind-blowing. I want to give you some examples of what's happening in South Africa. This is from Times Live. Half of South Africa's population are 100% dependent on state welfare. Think about that. Half of South Africa's population are now dependent 100%. 100% dependent on state welfare. Isn't that happening here? What is the government offering you? They give you money to have babies out of wedlock. They give you free education. They want to give you. They're giving you free health care. They giving you free houses. They giving you free everything, and the people falling for it. And quickly, they're talking about giving you reparation. And the country, the people are falling for it. I guarantee you, you're going to look around one day, and Timeline will say half of American population are 100% dependent on state welfare. There's nothing to stop it at this point. Look what they've done to the blacks. Most, not all, but most of the blacks are dependent on the government or someone else to take care of them. It wasn't always that way. It wasn't always that way. It happened in South Africa, and South Africa is a mess. It wasn't always that way over there either. But they brought in this equal stuff and racist talk and all that, and the white people gave up, and the blacks took over. Now you have a mess. The revolver, so you see now that it's happening here. All the wrong people in the right places to make that happen. Social justice warriors and crappy stuff like that. What a mess, huh? The revolvers reported South Africa did everything that is being done in America right now. Here's a photo of, critical race theory in South Africa. Mommy Africa, and look at the blacks burning and rallying and carrying on and have no idea why. Instead of the men going to work and being independent and not thinking that white people are superior to them, the blacks over them got them out there rallying and burning down the country instead of being men. Yes, sir.
South Africa, the first country built on critical race theory, officially implodes, is what the graphic says.
I rest my case.
DW News.
Isn't that something? Critical race theory is evil. It's an evil idea. It's an evil, when you push it as a norm, it's evil. And you're going to end up just like South Africa. And it's happened. Somebody... The wicked spirits are over the leaders that are over the people, and the evil spirits are encouraging the so-called leaders to do this. And in their minds, they think they get power and wealth, the so-called leaders, and they're going to feel better. They're not. There's not enough money and so-called power in the world that would cause them to stop. They, too, have to overcome evil. You're letting this happen in my country. And the white men are letting it happen in their country. They founded this country. They created this country, and everybody else is afterthought. And the white people, just as they've done in South Africa, have turned their country over to critical race theory. And believe me, the whites in South Africa are paying a price for being afraid. And likewise, the whites in America are paying a price for being afraid. And it's gotten worse for the whites in in South Africa. Likewise, it's going to get even worse for the whites in America. Evil is evil is evil is evil. It's evil. And you're on the run. You're running down to Florida. You're running to Texas. And the evil people follow you there. And they're putting up critical race theory in all those places, slowly but surely. And I'm not telling you not to move to Florida or Texas or anywhere. I'm just telling you, you cannot run from evil. You can't run from evil within yourself and be free, and you can't run from it in others and be free. You must overcome evil within yourself first, and then you will see how to deal with evil inside of others. You will, and you'll be free. Let me give you another example of what has happened and is happening in South Africa as a result of white people giving up their country. And the same identical thing is happening here. It's no different. It's literally no difference. This is from the post-millennial. South Africa declared a national state of disaster as the country power grid continued to collapse. This is from DW News. Watch this.
Now, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has declared a national disaster, a move he says is necessary to tackle a record electricity shortage.
Chaos erupts in Cape Town City Hall. Members of the left-wing Economic Freedom Fighters Party stormed the stage where South Africa's president is about to give his annual State of the Nation address. Security, some of them heavily armed, managed to expel the opposition lawmakers. The disruption inside this chamber may have been brought under control, but ongoing disruption to South Africa's electricity supply led to President Cyril Ramaphosa declaring a national disaster.
The National Disaster Management Center has consequently classified the energy crisis and its impact as a disaster.
The power cuts are affecting all businesses and are hitting the country's economic growth. They've been imposed to help the country's struggling coal-generated power system survive as demand grows.
And look who's running the country. Look who's running it. It wasn't like that when the whites were running it. When they were running it, it wasn't like that. And look who's taking over our country. It's the same thing. What's wrong with y'all? And you're afraid. You see I want to say gonna happen, but it is happening. Gonna get worse. Let's put it that way. It's gonna get worse. Look who's taking over the country. Look who took over South Africa. Mommy Africa. And you are afraid. And you say, oh, it's because of slavery. It's because of Jim Crow. It's because of systemic racism. All lies all the time. And now they are outright in America attacking white people and don't care, like now they're going north because they know you're not going to do anything about it. When the devil sees you're not going to stand up and fight for yourself within yourself, he will destroy you. He will destroy you. And they would call it depression. They would call it loneliness. They would call it HDD. They would call it suicide. They would give it every name of what it is. Just like they call hatred, they call anger good. And they justify the blacks hating the whites by saying it's for this reason, that reason, it's for none of those reasons. The news.com.au is reporting that horrific killings of farmers were victims who were sexually assaulted, tortured, and strung up on poles have sparked outrage in South Africa. This is from the SBS Dateline. Watch this.
God is going to change the hearts of people.
He was shot in the back of the head here, execution style, in the back of the head.
Something like 400 white farmers have been brutally murdered over the last 12 months.
I was shot 2 times there, one here, and the other one went in here.
Recently, Australian politicians suggested white South African farmers should be given special treatment under Australia's refugee program due to violent persecution they're facing at home.
White people arrived here from Europe in 1652. They killed our people, they stole our land, they oppressed us. All the land they have is land that was taken from us by force and in many instances by massacres.
This year, a resolution was passed to allow redistribution of some rural land to black South Africans without compensation, in a bid to rectify historical imbalances in land ownership.
The taking of land from the indigenous people of this country was the original sin.
We must ensure that we restore the dignity of our people without compensating the criminals who stole our land. The time for reconciliation is over. Now is the time for justice.
Same thing happening here. They're already killing the whites. They're already killing the whites. And the thing is, the blacks, they don't even belong in that area. They're lying. And they're saying the same thing that the blacks are now saying here. Oh, they took our land. When you had some land that some white folk took. My ancestor, who in your ancestor had some land? It's just all made up. And because the people are blind, they don't know that they've been lied to, because they still listen to the lies in their imagination. And their hearts are wicked. They have no love. If that scene what we just showed you doesn't make you want to speak up, then I don't know what is, because the same identical thing is happening to the whites right now. You're being killed. You're being, your jobs and things are being taken away from you, your companies, by a bunch of whiners who are not going to do anything but destroy it because they're victims. They don't know how to do anything. In their own mind, they're victims. If a person is not a victim, they have to get up and do something for their own lives. It doesn't matter if you like it or help me or not, because you're not a victim. But the blacks over here are victims in their own minds, and they're already in South Africa, and look what they're doing to the black. And you're putting these blacks in your government, in your businesses, in your schools, the white folks are, in your everything, and they're going to do the same. They're doing the same thing. It's just growing in evil right now. And they're going to take your land, and you're going to run out to the suburbs and the jungle where you think they ain't coming. They coming there too. Evil doesn't stop until you overcome it. And not all the blacks. Not all, but most. And the men are worse than the women. The men are not leading, they're following now. They are afraid, they are intimidated. They too hate white people. They have no love. Salvation's of the heart. And if you have one iota of anger, you have zero love. And emotional love is not love. And you will blame others. Anyone that's blaming others, you're saying out loud that you're a weak, angry, emotional person. Anyone that try to get revenge on others, you're saying out loud that you're a weak, jealous, emotional, angry person. And you get joy from trying to hurt others because you love your daddy, the devil. And Nick, they were saying something about the sin of the country was.
Oh yeah, the original that's the original sin, though, that you took the country through bloodshed or whatever.
But that happens in all, you made the point that happens.
Yeah, yeah. That's like every nation, every country. You hear that even here. You took the country through bloodshed from the natives, the Indians, but they were doing that to each other before anybody got here. You know what I'm saying?
They were doing it. The blacks were doing it to the blacks in Africa. The Chinese doing it to the Chinese.
But what I find interesting is that if that is the world they want, and that's true to them, oh, it's bloodshed, and that was wrong. We need to take it back. I just find it funny how they can never do what was done to them back. You know what I'm saying? They're not strong enough, organized enough, have built enough to, we're going to take it back.
Yeah.
And they have to have help. They have to have, economy has to be turned upside down for this to happen. And they have to, and it can only happen because the white people allowed it.
And the blacks still going to end up with nothing.
Yeah.
Because when the white folks just give them everything, look what's happened in South Africa. The white folks gave everything to them, and 100%. I mean, half of the population, according to this report, is dependent on the government.
Wow.
Half of the blacks over there are dependent on the government.
I need to find out what it's like over here. The numbers.
They're rising quickly.
Yeah. But I find it funny, Cyril Ramaphosa, they really know how to pick him. These communists, they really know how to pick them. He's so well-spoken. He doesn't have that, Roinik accent in South Africa, like a redneck accent. He's all, well-spoken, like an Englishman.
Yeah.
Oh, the disaster.
And
it's like an Obama.
I'm sick of hearing the blacks say that slavery was the sin of this country, something like that. That's a bald-faced lie. Slavery was not a sin. Slavery was not a sin.
We gave you God. We gave you Jesus.
So they lie when they say that. And the little white people go right along with it. American sin was slavery. No, it wasn't. Sin is of the heart. When you have anger, you're sinning. And as a result of the heart being wicked, as they have done all over the world, and are still doing, you do bad things to one another because you're doing bad things to yourself.